So the new Unrivaled Basketball League is expanding, which is great news. You know, the growth of women's hoops, the growth of the game is good for everyone. Obviously, the league is going to be compensating the players at a high level. So this is all great news. This was announced by Nafisa Collier, who co-founded Unrivaled with Brianna Stewart. Of course, Collier, star of the Minnesota Lynx, Stewart, star of the New York Liberty. And Collier said the league is going from 30 to 36, a result of being able to do so via financial backing, which could be in part due to the big media rights deal they secured with TNT. The open question is Caitlin Clark going to do it? Because it had been reported that Unrivaled was making a full court press for Clark. Clearly they should. That's a duh. Then Kate Martin was announced as a participant. Lexi Hull was announced as a participant, both friends of Clark. Well, the president of Unrivaled has gone on the record and said they would love to have her. They're not doing a full court press. They're letting her decompress, but there's a roster spot waiting should she choose to accept it. Of course, he is also the husband of Nafisa Collier. And look, Caitlin Clark can make her own decision, right? The ball is in her court, so to speak, but it would be an enormous boost for the league if she does indeed choose to participate, and it would satiate that long break from basketball that she is currently on from. Whether she needs it or not, maybe some of the fans would like to see her back on the court. This is what Collier had to say in making that announcement. Nafisa right here.
Hey guys.
Let me pull it up for you. Sorry.
Hey guys, so I have some super exciting news. We are now moving from 30 roster spots to 36 and Unrivaled. We're able to do this because we outperformed our financial projections. And so now we get to do something that we wanted to do in the future, which is give more people spots in Unrivaled. This is such an amazing time in women's sports, and we're so thankful to all the positive people who have come out and supported us. We will be getting tickets soon. We will be getting the dates out soon. We'll be announcing everybody soon. I know you guys have been asking for that information, and it is all coming. So stay tuned. And I can't wait to see everyone for this exciting and historic season of women's basketball.
So there you have it, straight from Nafisa Collier, who's an awesome player, super likable individual as well. And then her husband, who is the president of the league, said in part this, here's part of the quote: "We're always going to have a roster spot for Caitlin Clark. We're not applying a full court press the way people think. She knows we have a spot for her when she's ready." That's Alex, I believe is it Basil or Basil? When I pronounce it correctly. He follows me on X. I don't want to mess up his name. Now, I know some of y'all have been, there's the South in me coming out. My mom's actually from Mississippi, even though I spent my whole life in the Northeast. I know some of you do not want to see Caitlin Clark participate because you want to see her have a break, or you want revenge for the pettiness that maybe she experienced during her first WNBA season. I feel like I've been around and around in a circle when it comes to this conversation. I would selfishly like to see her participate, but ultimately the decision is up to her. I think it's good that they went on the record and basically said it would be great for the league. We'd love to have you, Caitlin, but they didn't say that she has indeed committed. That was the initial speculation when you hear they're expanding. Oh, maybe they got the Caitlin Clark commitment because that would help the finances. If they did get this huge media rights deal without Clark's commitment, that is certainly worth commending. There are a bunch of other great players who are going to be playing in the league. Arike Gumbawale was announced, of course. Angel Reese, clearly a star in her own right. Everywhere she goes, she makes news. So there are big names, big time players. It should be a cool vibe. It begins in January at Miami. In Miami. Miami is the main hub of Unrivaled. 3-on-3 full court basketball is the way I believe it works. They're going to be paying these women, much more than they make in the WNBA, so they don't have to go overseas. Obviously, they also unveiled the logos, which I previously did a video on, but here are the basketball clubs, the Laces, the Lunar Owls, the Mist, the Rose, the Phantom, and Vinyl. all I think are pretty cool. I like almost everything they've done. I like the spirit of what they've done. I think it's very cool. So we'll see if it indeed succeeds. We're going to have to wait a little bit more on Caitlin Clark because obviously they will give her time to make that decision. There's no commitment from Asia Wilson either. No Sabrina Ionescu, but we know Sabrina is hurt. So maybe that will factor in, though she should be healed up by the time Unrivaled would actually commence. But it's a big, bold, ambitious idea. So I understand that, again, there's some animosity and resentment that folks within the Clark fan base may have, but I think it's cool of Nafisa, and I think it's cool of Brianna Stewart, and I think it's a nice option for the other women to have if they choose to not go overseas, or if they just want to scratch that basketball itch, or obviously want to make more income to supplement the lack of income that comes from the WNBA, at least until that new CBA is negotiated. But anyone with a brain would understand what it would mean to secure the services of Caitlin Clark as well. I mean, there's only so many different ways you can say these sorts of things. When you look at the attendance and the ratings and the merchandise sales, and hell, just the excitement of watching the games. Clark had previously said she's playing no basketball. So nothing has changed other than all of us talking about that. Let me be very clear. Nothing has changed other than the speculation, right? And we know she's playing golf in the offseason. We know she's been working with the fever. Who knows what else she's going to do if she just wants to chill. She's certainly earned that right after all that basketball she played from Iowa straight into the WNBA. But it is it's an interesting note that they're going from 30 to 36 teams, that they're now, I think, 6 players on the roster. Obviously, there have been the previous reports of the equity and financial incentives that they would try to provide Clark. But I wish the best for the league with or without Caitlin Clark. But, I mean, it's not rocket science to say that the success of the league would essentially be guaranteed with the participation of Caitlin Clark. Just look at the discourse around it. Like, hey, Lexi Hull signs up. Does that mean Caitlin Clark's coming? Hey, Kate Martin signs up. Does that mean Caitlin Clark's coming? Hey, they expanded to 36 teams. Does that mean Caitlin Clark's coming? I mean, nothing really else needs to be said, but it's impressive if they were able to secure this backing and expand without a firm commitment.